Steak is one of the most popular and widely consumed dishes in the world. From high-end steakhouses to backyard grills, few meals carry the same level of satisfaction as a perfectly cooked piece of beef. But not all steaks are created equal. Each cut comes from a different part of the cow, and that location determines everything: the flavor, the texture, the fat content, and the best cooking method. Understanding those differences helps explain why one cut melts on the palate while another delivers a firm and intense chew. This video covers every major steak cut, what makes each one unique, and how each one should be properly prepared. Ribeye. The ribeye is widely considered the king of steaks. It comes from the rib section of the cow, specifically ribs 6 through 12. This cut is known for its exceptional marbling, the thin streaks of fat that run throughout the muscle. When cooked, that intramuscular fat melts directly into the meat, creating a rich, buttery flavor that is difficult to match. The ribeye is available bone-in or boneless. The bone-in version is commonly referred to as a cowboy steak, and when a long rib bone is left fully intact, it becomes the dramatic tomahawk cut. The ribeye performs best when cooked over high heat on a grill or cast iron skillet, and is ideally served at medium rare to medium doneness. New York strip. The New York strip comes from the short loin section of the cow, located along the upper back. It is a moderately tender cut with a firm texture and a bold, beefy flavor. Unlike the ribeye, the New York strip has less internal marbling, but it carries a strip of fat along one edge that renders during cooking and adds considerable flavor to the meat. It is a steakhouse staple because it strikes a strong balance between tenderness and satisfying chew. High heat and medium rare doneness bring out its best qualities. T-bone. The T-bone steak is named after the T-shaped bone running through its center. This cut contains two different muscles divided by that bone, the New York strip on the larger side and a small section of tenderloin on the other. The result is two contrasting textures and flavors within a single cut. The strip side delivers firm, intense beef flavor, while the tenderloin side is softer and more delicate. Cooking a T-bone requires close attention because both muscles respond to heat at slightly different rates, making precise temperature monitoring important. Porterhouse. The Porterhouse comes from the same short loin section as the T-bone, but is cut further back, which allows it to include a noticeably larger tenderloin portion. This makes it one of the most generous cuts available. It is often ordered to share due to its substantial size, and like the T-bone, it presents two distinct eating experiences within one steak. Grilling or broiling over high heat is a recommended preparation method for the Porterhouse. Filet Mignon. The filet mignon is sourced from the tenderloin, a narrow muscle running along the spine of the cow. Because this muscle performs very little physical work throughout the animal's life, it remains the softest and most tender cut available. The trade-off is fat content. The filet mignon contains minimal marbling, producing a milder flavor compared to fattier cuts like the ribeye. It is frequently paired with bacon wrappings or rich pan sauces to supplement its natural taste. Quick cooking over high heat and serving no higher than medium doneness are essential to preserving its delicate texture and moisture. Sirloin. The sirloin comes from the rear upper section of the cow, just behind the short loin. It is one of the most widely available and affordable steak cuts found at grocery stores and restaurants alike. The top sirloin is the more desirable portion, offering a solid combination of tenderness and genuine beefy flavor. The bottom sirloin, being tougher, is more commonly used for roasts or ground beef preparations. Sirloin is a lean cut that pairs well with marinades, which help to enhance both flavor and tenderness before cooking. Flat iron. The flat iron steak comes from the shoulder of the cow, within the chuck section. For years, this area was overlooked for steak purposes because a tough band of connective tissue ran directly through the muscle, making it impractical to serve. Once butchers learned to remove that tissue, the flat iron emerged as one of the most tender and affordable cuts on the market. Its consistent marbling gives it a flavor that rivals far more expensive options. It is best prepared on a grill and served at medium rare. Skirt steak. The skirt steak is cut from the plate section, located directly beneath the rib cage. It is long, thin, and known for intensely beefy flavor. The grain runs widthwise across the cut, meaning it must always be sliced against the grain after cooking to avoid a tough, chewy result. Skirt steak is a key ingredient in fajitas, tacos, and various stir-fry dishes. It benefits greatly from marinating and is best cooked quickly over a very high, direct heat. Flank steak. The flank steak comes from the abdominal muscles in the lower section of the cow. It shares a long, flat appearance with the skirt steak, but originates from a different location and carries a slightly lighter flavor. Cutting against the grain remains equally important here. Flank steak is widely used in London broil preparations and appears frequently in Asian and Latin American cooking traditions. Marinating before cooking improves tenderness and flavor considerably. Hanger steak. The hanger steak, often called the butcher's steak, hangs from the diaphragm in the plate section. Butchers historically reserved this cut for themselves because of its exceptional depth of flavor. It has a coarser grain and a pronounced, deeply beefy taste. Like skirt and flank, it must be sliced against the grain and is best enjoyed at medium rare. Tomahawk steak. The tomahawk is a bone and ribeye with the rib bone left intact and Frenched. Scraped clean to expose its full length, typically between 12 and 16 inches. It is one of the most visually striking cuts available. In terms of flavor, it delivers everything the ribeye offers: rich marbling and a buttery, full-body taste. Due to its thickness, the tomahawk is best cooked using a reverse sear, brought slowly to temperature in the oven, then finished with a high-heat sear on a grill or cast iron. Wagyu and Kobe beef. Wagyu is not a cut, but a category of beef from Japanese cattle breeds genetically predisposed to extreme intramuscular fat development. The marbling in Wagyu is far denser than in standard beef, creating a texture that melts almost on contact with heat. The flavor is deeply rich and buttery. Kobe beef is a designation for Wagyu from Tajima cattle raised in Japan's Hyogo prefecture, representing the highest tier of this category. Wagyu is graded on a marbling scale, with A5 being the highest level commercially available. Chuck eye steak. The chuck eye is cut from the fifth rib of the cow, directly adjacent to the ribeye section. This means it shares much of the ribeye's marbling and rich flavor at a significantly lower price. It has earned the nickname the poor man's ribeye. While slightly less uniform in texture, when cooked over moderate to high heat and served at medium rare, it produces results hard to distinguish from its more expensive counterpart. Steak doneness levels. How a steak is cooked fundamentally changes its texture, juiciness, and result. Rare reaches 120 to 125 degrees Fahrenheit. The center is bright red and very soft. Medium rare, the most recommended level for quality cuts, registers 130 to 135 degrees with a warm pink center. Medium reaches 140 to 145 degrees with light pink at the center. Medium well at 150 to 155 degrees leaves just a trace of color. Well done at 160 degrees or above produces a fully gray, drier interior. Most culinary professionals advise against cooking premium cuts beyond medium, as excess heat reduces moisture and the tenderness that defines quality beef. Every steak cut reflects the role that muscle played during the animal's life, how often it moved, how much fat it developed, and how its fibers formed. From the rich marbling of a ribeye to the lean intensity of a flank, and from the tenderness of a filet mignon to the bold depth of a hanger steak, each cut offers a distinct experience. Knowing where a cut originates and which cooking method brings out its qualities transforms every beef experience, at a steakhouse or at home, into something more informed and rewarding.